Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And here we are on a rather dim and dismal day. I think I've got to introduce you to Mr. Cockerell. There he is. He's the one who makes all the noise during the day or during my broadcasts. And where's your girls, fella? Where's your girls gone? Hey? Have you frightened them away? Oh, bless him. Well, anyway, there's Mr. Cockerell. Quick look at the weather today then. Got to be honest, it's a bit grim, although we didn't have any rain last night, which was a good thing. The winds just seem to be getting up a bit. Not as misty on the hills as what it has been, but when you compare it to yesterday, yeah, it's a bit grim. We have got forecasts for bad weather anyway, so that is on the way at some point. Just to remind you, it is winter here, and our winters, although it is not cold, I've got to be honest, it's lovely and warm at the moment. Despite the mist, it's not one of them crisp sunny mornings, that's for sure. So anyway, that's the hill, that's the mist on the hills looking over to Kerry and Amber Lockerbie as the crow flies. I don't know if you can see the oranges at the moment, but the oranges on there are looking good at the moment. It's just a case of trying to get to them at the moment through the mud that will come up to your ankles as you start walking around there at the moment. So anyway, that's the view from the back of the house. And then just quick shout out to Al Parks, who's tuning in from Catterick. Hey up, here come the girls. And also Shane Bowen, nice to see you tuning in as well, fella. Anyway, looking over the back. Now, normally we'd see the sun round the back here in the mornings, but can't see anything of it. Been obscured by the cloud as well. So looking towards Laguna, and as the crow flies straight through to Kalamaki, yeah, it is looking a bit grim. And you can probably hear the wind is getting up as well. And you can see the trees blowing and rustling. So anyway, there you go. That's the weather for today. Not looking good. So let's have a look about what's been going on within the last 24 hours in regards COVID here. Here, there's one of the chickens. Come on, you. Off you go, young lady. Off you go. Are you going? Come on. Chick, click, click. There you go. Bless her. Oh, Galimera there, Shane, as well to you, fella. How are you doing? Right, okay, let's have a quick look at the news for today, see what's been going on. I've got to be honest with you, I will have some controversial news a little bit later on, which is not in the local media, but has been in the mainstream media, and I'll come on to that when I get there, all right? Right, so the date today is 11th of January 2021, and it is a Monday, and it is now day 66 of the lockdown. COVID numbers in the last 24 hours. Just remember that today is the day that the children from primary schools and also from secondary schools have gone back to school. All right. And guess what? One of the animals, one of the chickens, has pooed on the veranda. Ah, damn. Anyway, so I'm sat here with the smell of poo around me. I can hear somebody saying, Ginger, full of it anyway, mate. Thank you very much. Right, okay, right. So COVID in the last 24 hours then. Yesterday, we had 445 new infections, which were recorded yesterday, which is down from the day before where we had 800. So that's a positive. So bringing the grand total at the moment to 144,738 infections since the pandemic started. 52.2% of those are male. There were 12 new cases identified at entries to the country. Now that is up, but only by one because we had 11 from the time before. And there's been no new cases on the national figures for Zakynthos at the moment. So at the moment, we're still saying that we've got about 4 positive cases since the beginning of the year here on Zakynthos, and those people are in isolation at home. So at the moment, our numbers haven't gone up here on the island, which is good. Now, as for deaths, that has gone up slightly. The last time I reported to you, we had 32 deaths. Reported yesterday, 36 deaths across the country, taking the grand total of deaths since the pandemic started to 5,263. And the average age of those people who passed away was 79 years of age. And 95.5% of those people had underlying health problems or were over the ages of 70. Now, Gender fatalities at the moment, if you're curious, mostly men have passed away. 3,107 men to 2,156 females. And once again, our condolences to people and families who've lost a relative at this time. Now, when it comes to critical cases at the moment, they are down slightly, which is good. 353 critical cases in the hospital at the moment. It is down from 362 critical cases in hospital. 243 male, 110 females. Average age of them is 68. Now, 84% of those, so that's slightly higher than yesterday, have underlying health issues or are over the age of 70. Now, Greek experts are worried that the country is facing a fierce, long-lasting new wave of COVID-19, with an increasing number of countries reporting that their health services are in crisis and buckling under pressure, and their governments imposing even more draconian measures. Epidemiologists have warned that the next 2 months in Greece will be critical in achieving a return to any sense of normality in the coming year. I think that basically, I feel here in Zakynthos that I think we are going to probably do the same. I think the waters are being tested for our lockdown to continue until the end of February. I don't think we are likely to go back into a two-tier system, and this could be a way of basically slowing down vaccinations, because I think vaccinations are going to be under pressure, and the high-risk areas here in Greece are probably going to get first priority. And I think at the moment we are probably seen as a low priority. Another thing to remember as well, normally by March time, normally about the 23rd, 24th of March, we would normally start our direct flights from the UK with EasyJet, and we'd have what I would call our pre-season before the official season kicks off on the 1st of May. So again, it'll be interesting to see how things play out then. So I say that our lockdown is probably going to continue like the rest of everybody else till at least the end of May, to wait and see. Now, the good thing is at least the primary school kids are now back at school today, and the kindergarten kids are back at their kindergartens today. As for children in sort of high school, they're obviously going online for their education rather than being in the classroom, and they're also going to reevaluate whether the older kids should be going back to school for their education later on as things go on. So again, we're going to keep an eye on that and see how things pan out. Anyway, this afternoon, the first vaccinations are expected to arrive in Zakynthos, so that the vaccination of the healthcare workers can begin. The vaccines will be received by the commander of the Zakynthos General Hospital, George Regulis, and there is expected to be 142 doses which will be stored in refrigerators of the General Hospital, and these vaccinations will only be going to doctors, nursing staff, employees of the hospital, and also the ambulance staff as well, and their vaccinations will begin immediately. As for when the rest of the vaccines will arrive, so that vaccinations can begin here on the island for people over the age of 85, that is still yet to be confirmed. And I wouldn't be too surprised that this may be slowed down, because there's going to be a lot of pressure on getting vaccines over here. So while we're in this complete close down at the moment, vaccines can be sent to other areas like Thessaloniki, also Athens, the Attica area, where they've had a very, very bad sort of time of it there, and the vaccinations can go out quickly there. But again, we shall keep an eye on this. Now, this is a story that I know is not being covered in the local press, but it has been covered in the national press, and it's basically the Deputy Health Minister, Vassilis has blamed doctors for the deaths of COVID-19 patients outside of ICUs, and not the shortage of beds in the country's intensive care units, which is obviously going to raise a few eyebrows. Now, the Deputy Minister did not give any data about the death rates in and outside the ICUs, neither did he commit himself to do so in the future. Responding to questions from a medical news website, lantaret.gr, regarding the news that 80% of COVID patients' deaths occurred outside ACUs, Komatanis said all patients had access to ICUs and that the criteria for their admission was not the adequacy, not of the beds, but the comorbidity, which means them suffering from other illnesses, and choices made by the hospital doctors. Anyway, end of December, Vassilis Turgis, a professor at the Department of Electrical Computer Engineering at the Democratic University of Thrace, made this revealing analysis on this issue. Tarandis wrote in his analysis, the proportion of patients admitted to the ICU and those who died is relatively stable and normal from the beginning of the pandemic. In the process, however, as pressure increased, an increasing percentage of patients began to stay out of the ICU, and eventually the number of patients outside the ICU and the deaths increased exponentially. The percentage of those who ended up without being admitted to ICUs seemed to exceed 80%. Anyway, according to Vassilis, a total of 4,113 COVID patients died October 27th to December 27th, 2020. A total of 580 patients were discharged from the ICUs in the same period. Vassilis also wrote, given the expected mortality in ICUs is about 50 or even 60%, the total number of patients who have been in ICUs is 1,900, 950 discharges and 950 deaths. Thus, 3,200 patients appear to have lost their lives outside the ICU. The hospitalisation of serious cases outside of the ICU seems to have been on the agenda, especially in Thessaloniki, where the intensive care units operated for a long time with 99% capacity in November and December. Anyway, the website also posted the relevant question at the live briefing on Friday. The Deputy Health Minister responded without giving any specific data on the issue and blamed the doctors, while the other two members from the Health Ministry, Mr. Papavelangoulos and also Mr. Maniakis, who are the medical professors and members of the epidemiology committee, had nothing to say on the subject at all. Anyway, it must be noted that the daily bulletins issued by the Greek Health only make reference only to the number of incubated COVID-19 patients and not to those in ICUs and those in normal wards in the COVID clinics. One thing you've got to bear in mind is when they say ICU, they're talking about people on ventilators and on intensive care. The way that they have structured the wards is that they have what they call the COVID clinic. Now, that's a ward with anybody who's suspected of having COVID is placed into that ward, and this ward is separate from the general population of people in the hospitals. So, therefore, it's all contained within one area. So basically what they've been saying is more people have been dying in the COVID clinic than have been dying in the ICU, and also people having difficulty getting beds. Seems to be that the Health Ministry is blaming the doctors for their decision where to put them as to whether there's a shortage of beds. Now this at the moment, I think there's more to come from this story, and we'll keep an eye on this and just see how it plays out in the media. It'll be interesting to see if the government media, you must remember in Greece, you've got two sets of news. You have news from the government through government, shall we say, run news outlets, and then you obviously have the private news outlets. Now, the private news outlets are normally very politically motivated, and they also will question what the information is coming from the mainstream government news sources. And so sometimes there's a bit of a political bun fight that goes on between the two sides, as we do have in the UK. However, this being such a serious question that's been raised, it'll be interesting to see what the response is, if there is any response, because in the past the Greek government will just ignore it and just carry on as if the question has never been asked. And unless they're pressurised at all levels, there won't be any answers to those questions. But anyway, we shall keep an eye on that as well. Anyway, a little bit of happy news for you. I've put this "and finally" in first. A nice little story I saw yesterday. Greek firefighters on the island of Mykonos saved the life of a dog which had fallen into a well. Oh, bless him. The incident took place in the area of Korfos on the island of Mykonos. And the press are describing this. The lovely dog fell inside an 8-metre deep well full of water and was trapped. A passerby saw the unfortunate animal, called the fire brigade, which responded to the incident and has done so to similar incidents on the island, according to the press there. And 4 firefighters got to the scene with all the equipment that they needed and managed to rescue the dog. Anyway, the dog was so grateful, it started playing with its survivors, showing great love and affection. This is the way it's been written. And the animal was so grateful for their life-saving service that it even refused to leave the men alone. I hope somebody took the dog home and gave it a family. There you go. So that's right. Just a quick reminder for tomorrow. I'm not sure if I will be doing a broadcast early in the day like I would normally do. The reason for this is tomorrow is quite an important day in the fact that Jane and I are going to the police station tomorrow morning for 8:30 so that we can exchange our old blue permit for a new biometric residency permit. This is a great big event, shall we say, for people living on the island, expatriates, and to see how simple and easy it's going to be to actually exchange the permits. So anyway, just to remind you, Spiro at the police station is only there on Tuesdays from 8:30 in the morning until 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You go down, you see Spiros, you bring your blue permit with you, you show him what your permit. He checks you on his computer and he will tell you what is required from you as an individual to exchange your permit. You may go down there, he may look at your permit, check his computer and say, that's okay, we now make an appointment and you come, we exchange it. Or he may say to you, you need this 5 years worth of income tax returns, you need proof of health insurance, you need proof that you can support yourself. He may also ask for your bank details as well to see that you have money. And then once that is done, you then go back again to see him. And then obviously you pay 16 euros, by the way, to get that biometric pass. Somebody, Mike Gatlin, said to me the last week, I'm going to name you, Mike. He sat and done the maths. He said, Ginge, if Spiro is only open 1 day a week and he's going to spend, say, maybe 15 minutes per person to actually do the processing for the appointment and checking the details, and if there's probably, say, 4,000 expatriate or foreign people living on the island, that's going to take him 4 years to do that. Well, we shall wait and see. All right, we shall wait and see if it will take. I haven't bothered sitting down doing the maths either, but thank you for taking the effort to do that. But anyway, we shall see. So tomorrow, the plan is for us, Jane and I, is that we will be going to the police station early in the morning. We'll be presenting our blue cards. We'll also have our passport with us and anything else that he might want. See what he says. And if he says you've got to get 5 years worth of income tax returns, well, yeah, we go around to the income, we go around to our accountant, we get those printed off. So again, hopefully we should just show him our blue card and great, that's it. We'll change it for one of the new biometrics. You then he'll then book you an appointment for that. And just also to tell you as well, it's also been said that you will be giving your fingerprints as well as part of this biometric pass. So again, obviously they collect a database of everybody that's living here on the island. And of course, this is going on right across Greece. And don't forget, the Greeks themselves are also changing their cardboard blue identity card to the new biometric system. So it's not only just us that's been done, it's the whole of Greece. So again, when you think about with the vaccinations got to be done, change of ID cards got to be done, that's a lot of work on the way there. And we shall wait and see what happens on that. And just to let people know that there is a revision on the old booking out system. And for those people like us who've got to go and do that tomorrow, just to remind you that when you put your code in to your phone to book out for going out. The code number for public services is 3, okay? The code is for public services, the same as it is for the bank, is code 3 for going down to the police station. Make sure you got that on your phone. You never know. They might check your phone when you go in and they might say, hey, you've got the wrong number on there. €300, please, even before you get in the door. And also for people taking their children to school now, just to remind you that the SMS code now is code number 4 for taking children to school. All right, I just thought I'd give you that as well. And don't forget, the curfew is still in place, 9 o'clock at night through till 5 o'clock in the morning. And once again, you're only allowed out of your house during the curfew to seek medical treatment. And again, you must book out on your phone, and the number is number 1, all right, on that. So just thought I'd reinforce those for you as well. Right, let's have a quick look, see who's tuning in at the moment. Alan Parks is there. I've already said hello to you up there in sunny Catterick. Shane Bowen is also tuning in as well. Nice to see you, Shane. Gallimera says. Amanda Gregory says, good morning. Good morning, Amanda. Are you going to the police station tomorrow with your permit to see if, you need to do anything else to exchange it? That'll be interesting. Anyway, give you a quick shout. Paul Harrison is also tuning in. He's a RAF buddy as well. Amanda says, oh, what a windy night last night and early this morning. Have a safe day. Yeah, it certainly was windy last night, I've got to be honest. I had to move our thingy down, our mat down on the front there and put it back in place. Anyway, Eileen Murray is watching as well. Lovely to have you watch. Maureen Lamington is watching as well. James Hughes is watching too. Alan the Fridge Watkins, we've not heard from you for a couple of days. He's been tuning in from Wales. Nice to see you. Susie Angus is also tuning in as well and watching. Thank you, Susie. Good morning, sir. How the devil are you? All good, I trust. Yes, Dave Camp, everything is fantastic today. We're just a bit eager to see what tomorrow's going to bring, actually. Going to see our beloved policeman, Mr. Spiro. He's probably becoming a bit famous now across this island, but he can be very charming if you get him in the right mood. Don't worry, things can be okay and run smoothly. Just don't wind him up when you get to the police station, all right? Sid James is tuning in, and Sid will know exactly what I'm talking about there. I'm not going to say any more, Sid. So there you go, mate. Gary Horsfield is also watching. He says, good morning, Ginge. I hope you're doing well, brother. Yeah, I'm doing well, fella. Rosewood is also watching as well. I don't know if Rose is going to be going down tomorrow to get her ID sorted as well. Gary Horsfield says, always great to watch you, see you doing positive stuff in the community, mate. Oh, thank you very much for that, my man. Thank you very much. Pete Leatherbarrow, other ex-RAF buddy, tuning in as well. Nice to see you. Derek and Bridget Cole in Cyprus is watching as well. Nice to see you. I was chatting with Wiggy yesterday over there. You're in now your much more stringent lockdown in Cyprus. They've gone the same way it is here at the moment with booking in and booking out and everything else. And again, you are also in the same position as us in that you're staying in lockdown until at least the end of, I think, next month, aren't you? So again, it seems every nation now seems to be playing off the same song sheet. So it was interesting talking to Wiggy about what was going on over there, and it was nice for you to tune in as well. Gary Horsfield is also tuning in. He says, cheers, bro. George McFarlane says, hi, DJ Ginge Coldwell. Hello, George McFarlane. How you doing? Sid James says, I thought he might say that. Yvonne Monroe is watching. Amanda Gregory says, he scares me. Sure he don't like me. Laugh out loud. Cosmate today, pay the bill. Yeah, you better pay the bill at Cosmate. And I'm sure she's talking about Spiro, the policeman. There you go. I'll probably get it in the ear from him tomorrow, mentioning his name across the world. There you go. Anyway, Alf Ling is also watching as well. Paul Harrison is watching. Nice to see you. Derek and Bridget Cole say I'm looking good. Thank you very much. I did have a shave this morning before I came on air. I felt that I needed to shave a bit because it becomes a bit painful if you leave it a bit too long. And George McFarlane says, hope to see you guys this year, and we hope to see you as well, George, this year. That's Jane just putting the cat litter trays out there for me to go and empty. Other than that, that's it. So once again, just remind you, thank you to those people who tuned in yesterday afternoon. I did like an emergency testing broadcast test of systems because of problems I was having with the show the other day, and it seems everything is running nicely. I was doing mega hard drive scans and internal scans and looking for viruses and all sorts of stuff like that. And yesterday's broadcast was absolutely smooth as anything, really nice. Can I just say thank you to those people who tuned in. Big shout out to Steve Hinklin, also Rhonda over the United States. I also had Anitha Clark from Trinidad and Tobago. She thought it was fantastic. Played a lot of reggae yesterday, played a lot of Northern Soul. And if you want to listen into those shows, that show, it's up online on Mixcloud as audio only. And it is also as a Dropbox as well, where you can see the video, hear the music, put that up on your big screen and just enjoy 2 hours of reggae, ska, rocksteady, and also Northern Soul. So, and thank you to those people that tuned in as well. And I'll see how that little show does in the chart as well. I've not checked it this morning, see if it may have charted. But show that got cut short has done very well. It's risen up the charts at the moment. I think about number 10 in the reggae chart, 42 in the soul, and I think 43 or something in the rock chart and one of the other charts. I can't think what chart it is, but yeah, thank you very much. Anyway, got to say a quick hello to Yvonne Monroe. Hi there, stay safe out there. Thank you. Tracy Davis is also watching as well. Lovely to have you tuning in as well, Tracy. So I will see you at some point tomorrow. It probably might be late in the afternoon with what's gone on at the police station and see how things go on with the exchange of the ID cards, and if it's a simple process for us or whether it's a difficult process, and also meet other people from around and just find out how they've been getting on as well. So anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you tomorrow. You take care. Have a great day. And hopefully we might have some sun at some point. Ta-ra.